Hey folks, just want to do a quick or semi-quick video on my thoughts on training volume. I've talked about this before in a smaller context. I want to talk about a little bit more here, not too long though. Don't want to bore anybody, but wanted to lay out some what I believe are the facts in applying a lot of the floating research that's going around these days on training volume and how that actually applies to bodybuilders, particularly bodybuilders who are intermediate to advanced. To me, that's someone who's got over, intermediate's at least 2 years of training, probably. Effective progressive training, not just figuring things out, but you're making continuous progress those 2 years. When speaking of volume, a lot of studies are talking about you need X number of sets per week to elicit maximum hypertrophy benefits from the volume sustained in the gym. And I think that needs to be taken in the right context. First of all, we know most of these studies do not have experienced bodybuilders in them. At best, it's like 6 months of steady resistance training, which isn't really experienced, frankly, in my opinion. You need a couple of years to really become an experienced trainer. And besides the fact that they're not experienced, let's take a look at what does experience mean, really. One of the things about being an experienced bodybuilder is having a really good feel and a good knowledge of your body. Most importantly, perhaps, where are your failure points? How much is enough? How much is too much? How much volume per week is exceeding your recovery capabilities? How much volume per week is giving you continuous progress as opposed to no progress? Too little versus too much training volume. These things need to be considered in the context of just saying blanket statements of you need 10 sets per week or 20 sets per week or whatever. The most important part is what is the effective volume, the actual volume that gets work done, that provides stimulus to grow muscle. And I think herein lies some of the ambiguity about talking about training volume and X number of sets. Because per individual, as I mentioned, you can have a better sense of how many sets it takes you, how many reps it takes you to elicit maximum hypertrophy response. This is just, obviously common sense, right? The more you train, the better you know. The more you know your limits are, the more you know your body, the more you can kind of target that hypertrophy range. But additionally, people who don't really know may need more sets to get enough stimulus to elicit hypertrophy. And I think that's one thing we got to keep in mind in these studies that say X number of sets, like 20 sets per week or something per body part, let's say. I don't believe if you are truly in tune with your body and truly training hard, you need 20 sets. Because I think that some of these research studies, a large number of those sets can be discounted as not productive. Okay, I think a lot of the trainees in those exercises, those groups that they're researching on, take quite a bit of work to get enough fatigue, to get to a point where the training volume is providing stimulus to elicit hypertrophy. I think if you're well experienced, that's not necessarily true. You should have, after a couple of years, 2, 3, certainly 5 years of training, you shouldn't have wasted sets in your volume. You're going to have warm-up sets, which we generally don't count, right? A couple warm-up sets to get the joints warmed up, the muscles warmed up, get locked into the movement. Some need more than others. If you're training muscles in a various number of exercises over sets, you don't need as much, obviously, as you progress. Maybe just one warm-up set per exercise to get used to that machine or that movement, then move into your working sets. In any case, there shouldn't be just not junk volume, but wasted volume. Okay, the volume you should be spending in the gym should be productive volume. And I think that's what we got to keep in mind when we talk about what is the necessary volume to elicit hypertrophy, to actually grow new muscle. We need progressive overload. We need to progress either in more weight or more reps or perhaps even less rest or more strict form, some way to overload the muscle so it has to improve given the proper recovery resources per workout session. That's what we're after. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to have X number of sets to do that. Certainly not large guidelines. Again, the research is great for people who don't have experience. And I think probably a lot of it's targeted more towards individuals like that. But I just want to, just say my 2 cents on this, because I've been doing this for a long time. I've been a bodybuilder consistently for over 40 years now. Okay, I started at 15 years old. I'm more than 55 right now. I've never stopped. I took a month off once in 1994 because I moved to Japan the first time ever and couldn't access a gym. That's it. Otherwise, completely training from 15, 16 years old all the way up till now. Competed across several decades. Okay. I have a pretty good sense of my body. And I'm sure there's many of you out there who've trained a lot less years in total and still have a really good sense of your body and how to train. Now that said, some people don't. Of course, some people struggle. Some people do have difficulties in optimal training, either because of some kind of neurological disconnect or just their own anatomy, physiology, where it makes it a little harder to train than other people. Everybody's different, right? But I don't want anybody to think that, you have to have X number of sets in your volume to make progress, because I don't think that's necessarily true. You have to have X number of sets that are productive. That could be 20 sets per week. If you're not familiar with the movement, you need a lot of sets to get locked in, to get in your groove, to be able to produce stimulus, producing exercise. But it could be a lot less. For me, let's say I was in the gym today. I train legs and arms. Let's just take arms really quick because everybody trains arms, right? Okay. Hopefully you're training everything, but for biceps, I'll do like 6 sets per session. I have 2 sessions per 8 days. So that's 12 sets of volume total. Now those sets are largely highly productive sets. Usually I'll do 4 sets of each exercise. And the first set is really just kind of getting into the movement and warming up. Not lightweight, but 15 reps without too much fatigue. And then I might step down to 12 to 15 reps for actual working sets for 3 working sets of 2 movements. So a total of 6 sets. That's enough for me. If I apply myself and train really hard with those sets, I will get progress as far as my genetics will allow me to. And I don't have good genetics for arms. But I just want people to keep in mind that the volume quotations, the volume quotas, whatever, are not universal. It really depends on your experience level, how hard you train, how experienced you are as an athlete. If you can get settled into your workout routine fairly quickly and are producing effective sets fairly quickly, you don't need high volume. Now, on the flip side of this, just discount what's needed for hypertrophy. Some people like high volume. Some people like to train for a pump. When I first trained at 15 years old, I copied Arnold Schwarzenegger's routine out of his book verbatim. That was high volume, 6 days a week at 15, 16 years old. Okay? I responded because I didn't do anything else before that, of course, and anybody else will too. But it wasn't optimal for me. I do better with a little bit less volume. I don't like being fatigued for no reason. I like to have energy in my daily life when I get out of the gym. I don't want to be beat up feeling. I want to do enough to produce progress, not to punish myself. But there are, of course, people who just like high volume. They like the pump and whatever. And we know the pump doesn't necessarily indicate progress, right? I mean, it feels good. It's impressive. You look good. You feel good. But it doesn't necessarily mean progress in the workout. But if you feel good, if that's entertaining to you, that keeps you going to the gym, and that is why you go to the gym, okay. If you go to the gym purely to make hypertrophy progress, I would encourage you to focus more on productive volume rather than total volume. Okay? I just want to put that out there. This is probably common sense to a lot of people. It's just being unsaid. But I just wanted to say it as someone who's been around for a long time, decades, trying all different kinds of training routines, have tried to help people as much as I can. I mean, I'm a coach nowadays. I try to lend my experience to other people, save them time and effort. That's my main purpose now as a bodybuilder. And I hope these videos can help some people a little bit and bring you, some kind of information or insight that could save you time and effort and spend you less time spinning your wheels, just following, whatever the latest trendy advice is or information or even scientific research. Just make sure it's applied properly to yourself, your limitations, your body type, your recovery, everything. It's highly individual. But most importantly, the time in the gym has to be productive if you want to make progress. Simple as that. And it doesn't have to be a ton of time. It doesn't have to be a ton of sets. It can be if you want to because it's fun. I get that. But if you really after pure progress, find out what works for you. Be optimal in your execution, in your time spent in the gym. And get out of the gym and enjoy your life. You can make progress in the gym and still have a good life too if you have balance and you're using your time at the gym optimally. Okay, that's enough for now, I guess. A little rant, not a rant, just my 2 cents. Hope it's useful for some people. Let me know in the comments if this kind of stuff is useful. I'll lend my insights the best I can, my opinions for whatever they're worth. And, comment, like, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff if you want to hear more of these kind of things. I'm very open and happy to share what I can and have people freely agree or disagree. Anyway, take care until next time. Enjoy your workouts. Enjoy your life. Take care. Bye-bye.